Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Walsell, and I'm the CEO and owner of Beyond Indigo Pets. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. Recently, we just passed our 100-mile episode mark, so that was kind of fun. And part of that was our guest speaker today, Dr. Peter Weinstein, the Executive Director of the SCVMA in California, Southern California Veterinary Medical Association. Welcome, Peter.
Kelly, always a pleasure to see you. I miss you. This virtual stuff is just not the same.
Isn't it? It kind of sucks, actually, but
I can't hug a screen.
It's awkward. If you hug a screen, it's just got all points, and yeah, it's not the same, is it?
No, not at all.
No. Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
Somehow, we've made it this far down the road in life with this changing environment, and then to add insult to the injury in your area, you guys added a little dose of fire to the excitement.
Yes, and California has like 4 seasons: fire, flood, earthquake, and mudslide, I believe, or something to that effect. And we actually had an earlier than usual fire season. A lot of it has to do with how dry everything is, and the winds and the direction of the winds. And last weekend we had temperatures that were triple digits, even coastal temperatures that were triple digits. So all of this up and down the west coast from Mexico to Canada has created the perfect firestorm, for lack of a better way to put it.
It's ugly out there. I mean, I'm in Minnesota, and of course, all I have is firsthand accounts of friends and family out there and what I read in the papers. But it certainly doesn't sound good. So, what are veterinary hospitals doing or not doing? Or I'm assuming some have to evacuate because as the fires come near their towns.
Yeah, there are risk factors associated, and we have to let the local authorities let us know from a safety standpoint. Many veterinarians, veterinary staff are helping out in communities. They do help. The California Veterinary Medical Reserve Corps is an organization facilitated through the California Veterinary Medical Association, whereby veterinarians and staff can sign up to help out in relief areas and rescue areas. And whether it's with horses that had to have been rescued, or wild animals that have been saved, or dogs and cats that might have run free, many of the veterinarians within the state have helped and volunteered to help in different specifically set rescue areas. Now, of course, a hospital that is outside of a high-risk region might be a place that will take in animals that might be burned. Additionally, many hospitals will voluntarily, for free, board people's pets if they've had to evacuate. And evacuations are the most common issue that we have to deal with, and evacuations with pets become a bit of a challenge. The companion animals, many resources, many of the shelters will allow pet owners with pets to come in. Not all. So veterinary hospitals frequently will open their doors for boarding animals for free to help out during this. And again, many hospitals have had to evacuate themselves if they're on the edges of the fires. And of course, many of the veterinarians who own the hospitals and their staff live in high-risk areas. One of my employees here in Southern California said she woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and looked out of her door, and she could see the flames, and they were still miles away. But it sure doesn't make you sleep well at night, does it?
No, it doesn't. I had somebody said they looked out their window and it looked like hell was coming towards them, you know?
I think that's how I responded to your email earlier in the week, with the lyrics to Highway to Hell from AC/DC, if I remember right.
You do, yeah.
Last night at 5 o'clock, when I was running out to pick up dinner, with the mask on, of course, the sun looked like Mars. It was that red, and it was just really bizarre. There's my house, which is pretty far away from the major active fires this morning. My car had ash on it. You know, we don't get a lot of snow here in Southern California. We make up for it in ash, and it's a real pain, the ash.
Yeah, and you add a little water to that, and then you got cement. It's awesome. So here in Minnesota, you were talking about a red sun. We're actually being affected by the California fires. Our sunsets are red because of the smoke. So, I mean, you don't think it travels that far, but it really does travel that far, right? It does have a global or a broader geographical region than you think. Now, going back to that volunteer organization, can veterinarians and people who want to help outside of the state of California volunteer to come in to help?
They can come in to volunteer to help, but veterinarians who are not licensed in California could not be utilized to provide veterinary care, except at a technical level. They couldn't be involved with anything that would be diagnosing, prescribing, or doing surgery.
Okay.
I don't know whether the California VMRC does take in non-California residents, because it's really been directed at residents within the state, and you've got to sign up for it ahead of time and the like. But the website for the California Veterinary Medical Association, C as in Charlie, V as in Victor, M as in Mary, A as in Apple.net, probably has some information about SCVMA, California Veterinary Medical Reserve Corps, just another acronym. And you can learn some more about it. And of course, if you're in Nevada or Oregon or other states that border on California, Arizona, there may be some opportunities to help. But of course, if you're in Oregon right now, you're dealing with fires there as well as in Washington. My daughter Brooke, who's up in Corvallis, posted a picture of her dog this morning that says it's too smoky to go out for a walk. So the entire West Coast is dealing with this maelstrom at the moment. And the good news is the temperature has cooled off a little bit. So it's right now it's 76 degrees instead of 106 degrees as it was on Saturday and Sunday.
Sucks. Yeah, no, that's good. So besides fires, global pandemics, you know, the norm, what should people be thinking about now for the next couple of months? Or what are your hospitals, what are you hearing from your association of like their focus or what they're dealing with, you know, just kind of a pulse?
I think that the biggest question, and I see this on a number of the listservs that I participate in, or I should say lurk on, is when can we safely open the doors and let people in? You know, it's just like, is it safe to go outside? No, the question is it safe to go inside? And everybody wants to know, because here, when it was 100 and some odd degrees and you're dealing with curbside check-in, that puts a bit of a tax on the staff who's going outside. It puts a little bit of a challenge on these cars that are having to sit there with their air conditioning on one hand. On the other hand, we are still in the middle of a steadily developing pandemic situation that we really aren't sure about when it's going to truly be safe. So my biggest message to anybody who hears this as a veterinarian or a manager is decisions regarding opening up need to come from your entire team and their comfort level in seeing clients in a closed environment. The air helps create distance between you and your clients. A small exam room could be very much an incubator. And so even with PPE and masks, what are you going to take in terms of precautions going forward to mitigate risks for your client service team, to minimize risks for your technical team, and for yourselves as leaders and managers? So winter is not that far off for some parts of the country, like Minnesota. It could snow next week.
Yeah.
It snowed in Colorado last night, if I'm not incorrect.
It did, yep.
And so, or recently. So we're going to have plan Bs ahead. and it's going to have to be safety first, because you can deal with cold, but can you deal with COVID? And so please make team-based decisions regarding the health of your team, the risk factors for your team, and also for your clients as you make that decision to move from a curbside to a bedside or tableside delivery of veterinary care.
And really to start doing that thinking now. Like, so be proactive, not reactive in that decision is kind of what I'm hearing you say, right? Like, now in Minnesota, we still have green and it's sunny out, but I know unless the world flips on its axis in January, that will not be the case here in Minnesota, right? So then that's a choice. What do you do, right?
Yeah, I think we've got to create some systems to slowly move from curbside to inside, and setting up plexiglass barriers at the reception desks, mandating masks at all times for all clients coming in. It is interesting to watch on the streets and in retail stores and in restaurants how many people wear their masks like a jock strap around their chin, thinking that can I say that? Is that okay, Kelly?
It's totally okay, because it perfectly described the image right there. Yep.
So, they're not protecting much.
Nope.
And so are you going to be the technician at the front door that says, Mr. Weinstein, please pull your mask up? Because not every client will be cooperative, and what are you going to do about it? So we've got to prepare, we've got to work through this, we've got to do some role playing. I know practices have done euthanasias within the physical plant. I also know that even before we get to snow and cold, we're going to get to rain. And again, all of these weather changes were somewhat tempered throughout the summer. They become a little bit more extreme as we get into October, November, December, January. So plan now for what you can anticipate as the average weather, and figure out how you can protect your team. I've talked to architects about putting plexiglass between the front desk and clients who are coming in, even hanging them in exam rooms on one side of the table so that the client could be on the other side of the table and the pet can be on the table with you and a nurse. So all of these things need to be taken into precautions. And then when you start to make these changes, you need to let your clients know that you're going to make these changes, which is where marketing comes in. Because whether you're using an email, a text, a carrier pigeon, an owl with Harry Potter, or your website, you need to let your clients know that these changes are going to occur so that you can accommodate them and there's no surprises. The worst thing you can do in the face of this chaos that we are currently on life support with is surprise your clients. They don't like surprises.
They don't need it, and they'll lash out, right? Because that's it. That's the straw that broke their proverbial back. And we say that too. Like, you need to say it to the point you're so sick of it, you almost want to throw up if you had to say it one more time. Because that's how much you should be saying it on all the places people see you, right? Like, wherever your logo is, your brand, anything, that message should be there, and it should be consistent. And an email ahead of time, like, you can't over communicate right now. You just can't,
Use your telephone, reach out to your better clients. And when people call to make an appointment, your goal is not to get them off the phone. Your goal is to get them educated so when they come in, they are prepared for how the services are going to be provided. I saw a survey, and I don't recall if we shared this on the last time we spoke, but I saw a survey that said only 25% of pet owners surveyed knew that the practices that they were going to visit were providing curbside care.
I'm not surprised.
That means 75% showed up and got surprised.
Right. And then they were like, what? The other thing I know myself personally is I've taken to actually calling businesses that I don't go to often anymore, because more times than not, the information isn't up to date on Google My Business, or like their hours, or if the doors are closed, or what am I supposed to do. And I'm not a big phone person myself personally, because, you know, internet's my thing and I just like to go find it. But I just realized that the only place, there's so much inaccuracy out there on the internet around different businesses that you just got to call them and say, okay, what are the rules? What am I supposed to do? How's it supposed to work? Because you haven't told me any place on how to do this, right? And
well, you know, if you think about it, because everybody is busy, a lot of people are put on hold. And if you're not taking advantage of information on hold to let people know what to expect, you're missing out on another opportunity to communicate with your clients. I am sure they would love to know about the boarding specials that you're running at Christmas. But right now, they need to know how you're going to be providing services for them when they're coming in today or tomorrow. So use information on hold, or even if you're using a phone tree and people are choosing you know, a number on a phone tree, one of those messages is how are we delivering care today, this week, might be something that you have as well. So take advantage of all the media opportunities that are out there, all of the internet opportunities that are out there, and minimize surprises.
I love it. Well, we'll leave that there today. But so communicate consistently across the board, more, like 100 times more than you think you should. I would also add to that, as we're closing, have an outside person who doesn't work for your business go and find your business and find the holes, right? Like sometimes when you're in it, you don't see, you see it. It's just a human thing. You can't see the forest through the trees sometimes. So have somebody go and try to find your business and see if it's accurate, right? Just an outside audit, you know, family member, friend. It doesn't have to be somebody you write a check to, just somebody. So be consistent about that, and then keep an eye on the weather, right?
Well, I think if we want to tie the entire conversation together,
Yeah.
Everything is a disaster right now.
Yes.
And let's be prepared for it. This pandemic is a disaster. Louisiana got nailed by a hurricane. That ain't going to be the first, and it ain't going to be the last. So think about all of the hospitals and individuals that were impacted by the hurricanes there, and future hurricanes that will be coming up along the coast, tornadoes in the Midwest, fires that we're dealing with, and eventually floods and everything else. So we really do need to have disaster preparedness training within our practices and how to handle things. What are we going to do with our pets that are boarding with us if we've got them in the face of a fire getting close to the hospital? And concurrently, as we learn that, we can learn how to better communicate with our clients regarding the COVID pandemic as well. So this is a great opportunity to really present ourselves in a very positive light by taking the time to train, to focus, and to do things correctly, which are always in the best interest of the patients and the clients.
Totally 100% agree. Great summary. Well, we will see you again on here, Peter. Until then, wish you the best.
Thank you, Kelly. Stay warm, I guess, and stay dry, and we'll do the best that we can to stay safe and sane here, and I look forward to catching up with you again sometime soon.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.